Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan hold an official session of talks at Al Palace in Abu Dhabi. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq arrives to the United Arab Emirates in a two-day state visit. Assigned by His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid As'ad bin Tariq Al Said receives Chairman of the National People's Assembly of Algeria. Two agreements are signed to establish an Omani-French project for liquefied natural gas at Sohar port at a cost of $1.6 billion and to supply a French company with approximately 800,000 metric tons of gas annually over a period of 10 years. And His Excellency the Minister of Information affirms before the Shura Council that the Omani media fulfills its responsible, enlightening and awareness-raising role, providing opportunities for the dissemination of knowledge while upholding the freedom of opinion and expression within the bounds of the law. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan held this evening an official session of talks at Al Palace. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq arrived in the United Arab Emirates this afternoon on a two-day state visit. Upon His Majesty's arrival at the presidential airport in Abu Dhabi, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, President of the United Arab Emirates, led the welcoming ceremony of His Majesty the Sultan, wishing him and his accompanying delegation a pleasant stay in the United Arab Emirates. His Majesty was also received by His Highness Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Presidential Affairs of the United Arab Emirates, Head of the Mission of Honor, His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Deputy Governor of Abu Dhabi and National Security Advisor, His Highness Sheikh Saif bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Interior, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Hamad bin Tahnoon Al Nahyan, Advisor for Special Affairs at the Presidential Court, and His Excellency Mohammed bin Khair Al-Za'abi, Ambassador of the United Arab Emirates to the Sultanate of Oman. Upon the royal's plane entering Emirati airspace, it was escorted by a number of Emirati military aircraft until its arrival at the presidential airport in the capital Abu Dhabi in a welcoming gesture for His Majesty's visit. After a brief rest at the presidential airport, His Majesty the Sultan, accompanied by His Highness the President of the United Arab Emirates, boarded the motorcade which took them to the Al-Watan Palace in Abu Dhabi, where official and popular reception ceremonies were held for His Majesty. As the motorcade of the two leaders entered the main gate of Al-Watan Palace, a group of cavalry formations lined the sides of the road, celebrating the arrival of His Majesty the Sultan. Meanwhile, aerobatic planes formed the flag of the Sultanate of Oman in the sky, and during this spectacle, the artillery fired 21 rounds in salute to His Majesty the Sultan. Several groups of traditional arts participated in the reception, welcoming this visit. Groups of children also waved flags of the two countries. After they arrived at Al-Watan Palace, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan accompanied His Majesty the Sultan to the podium of honor, where the Omani royal anthems and the Emirati national anthems were played. After that, His Majesty the Sultan, accompanied by His Highness the Sheikh, inspected the guard of honor, who saluted His Majesty. A commemorative photo of His Majesty the Sultan and His Highness the Sheikh was then taken, documenting the historic visit of His Majesty the Sultan. Afterward, His Majesty the Sultan shook hands with the Emirati officials, exchanging greetings, while His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the United Arab Emirates, greeted the official delegation accompanying His Majesty the Sultan, welcoming them and wishing them a pleasant stay. Afterwards, His Majesty the Sultan and His Highness the Sheikh proceeded to hold an official session of talks. Accompanying His Majesty the Sultan during the state visit is a high-level official delegation, including His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for Defense Affairs, His Highness Sayyid Bil Arab bin Haytham Al Said, His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Minister of the Diwan of Royal Court, His Excellency General Sultan bin Muhammad Al Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, His Excellency Dr. Hamad bin Saeed Al Aufi, Head of the Private Office, His Excellency Abdul Salam bin Muhammad Al Murshidi, Chairman of the Oman Investment Authority, His Excellency Qais bin Muhammad Al Yusuf, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion, and His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Ahmed bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Ambassador of the Sultanate of Oman, accredited to the United Arab Emirates. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq left today for Abu Dhabi on a state visit to the United Arab Emirates, during which he meets His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, President of the United Arab Emirates. The visit will explore areas of the existing cooperation between the two countries in various spheres, a means of promoting them to serve the interests of the Omani and Emirati peoples and meet their current and future aspirations for further progress and prosperity. The visit stems from the fraternal bonds and good neighborhood between Oman and the UAE and reflects the keenness of the two countries' leaderships to enhance joint ties and push them forward towards wider horizons. During his visit, His Majesty the Sultan is accompanied by a high-level official delegation comprising His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for Defense Affairs, His Highness Sayyid Bil Arab bin Haytham Al Said, His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Minister of the Diwan of Royal Court, His Excellency Lieutenant General Sultan bin Muhammad Al Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, His Excellency Dr. Hamid bin Saeed Al-Aufi, head of the private office. His Excellency Abdul Salam bin Mohammed Al-Murshidi, chairman of the Oman Investment Authority. His Excellency Qais bin Mohammed Al-Yusuf, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion. Assigned by His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Highness Sayyid As'ad bin Tariq Al Saeed, Deputy Prime Minister for International Relations and Cooperation Affairs and Special Representative of His Majesty the Sultan, received at his office today His Excellency Ibrahim Boughali, Chairman of the National People's Assembly of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, who is currently visiting the Sultanate of Oman. During the meeting, cordial conversations were exchanged and aspects of existing cooperation between the two countries in many areas of common interest were discussed. OQ Group announces final investment decision with Total Energies to build a liquefied natural gas bunkering plant at Sohar Port. More details in the following report.
OQ, the Global Integrated Energy Group, has announced a final investment decision with Total Energies for the construction of Marsa LNG bunkering project at Sohar Port at a total cost of $1.6 billion, with Total Energy contributing 80% and OQ 20% via the incorporated joint venture Marsa Liquefied Natural Gas LLC.
The agreement that we've signed yesterday is to build the first LNG bunkering plant in the Middle East and Africa. The other similar LNG bunkering plants are in Rotterdam and Singapore, so this is going to be the third one on the way from Rotterdam to Singapore. I think it's strategically extremely important.
The project integrates both upstream and downstream business segments. The upstream component entails the production of 150 million cubic feet per day of gas from Block 10, which will be subsequently transported through OQGN's gas network to Sohar Port. The downstream component involves the construction of an LNG plant with a capacity of 1 million tons per year, along with a renewable energy power plant with a capacity of 300 megawatt of PV solar power to provide the total annual energy needs of the LNG plant.
We are very happy today to have signed the fiscal protocol with our partners, Total Energy and Ministry of Energy and Minerals. The project is extremely important from a strategic perspective to OQ. It's a project that will help integrate the upstream, downstream, alternative energy, OQ gas network that will play a key role in transporting gas from Block 10 in Al Wusta region to Sohar Port, where a liquefaction plant will be installed. The liquefaction plant will supply LNG bunker to ships that will be calling into Sohar Port.
New location to produce LNG in Oman, in Sohar. It's a 1 million ton project, very innovative project indeed, because it's a very low emission project. It's fully electrified. Electricity will come from renewables, from a 300 megawatt solar plant. Together with a partner is OQ, is our partner, so it's a joint project between OQ and Total Energies.
The Marsa LNG bunkering project will achieve two remarkable milestones in the region: a plant with emissions of less than 3 kg of carbon dioxide for every oil equivalent barrel, and building the first of its kind LNG bunkering facility in the Middle East.
Asyad Maritime Transportation executed the first operation of transporting crude oil blended from the Al Fahl port in Muscat Governorate to Ras Markaz in Al Wusta Governorate. The company indicated that the operation was carried out through the giant oil tanker Siq, followed by sending the shipment to the Duqm refinery via the pipeline connecting the refinery and the storage area in Ras Markaz. This operation is considered the first of its kind in the Sultanate of Oman, integrating Omani companies using a fully local supply chain in the maritime, transportation and energy sectors, contributing to enhancing local value added. With the aim of highlighting the latest efforts and developments in the energy sector, Oman Petroleum and Energy Conference kicked off today at Oman Convention and Exhibition Center. More details in the following report.
The Oman Petroleum and Energy Show 2024 sets a platform for exchanging expertise and experiences, showcasing the latest advancements and enhancing innovation in the field. This event, which was inaugurated at the Oman Convention and Exhibition Center, sees participation from numerous experts and specialists in the field from within the Sultanate of Oman and abroad.
As you've seen, the main theme for the event, the conference as well as the exhibition, is providing affordable energy, sustainable energy and clean energy, and it's in that order. It's important that energy is made available at an affordable cost to all consumers. It's also important that energy is made available at all times. Sustainability and security of energy is extremely important. And finally, of course, we have to be responsible and make sure that the energy provided is as clean as it can get.
The conference discusses affordable, sustainable and clean energy, along with the latest innovations, technology and best practices in the industry that facilitate the global transition towards energy sustainability.
The conference, which is running along the exhibition, will look into the energy transition. So it is basically the use of the oil and gas, decarbonization of the oil and gas, while moving into the renewables, wind, solar, hydrogen, and etc. So it will look into the opportunities and the challenges that are facing the industry and how the energy transition can take place in the next 30 or 40 years.
An important agenda for us this year. We're talking about the trilemma of energy affordability, sustainability and security. And in PDO, over the last 3 years, we've done a lot to satisfy all three legs of that trilemma, following His Majesty's Vision 2040 and our commitment to net zero 2050. And essentially we have completely refreshed our purpose to build a sustainable and a low carbon future and maximize value to Oman.
This year's Petroleum and Energy Show reflects the leading efforts made by the Sultanate of Oman in the realm of sustainable energy, driving economic development efforts and preserving the environment, aiming to build a bright, sustainable future characterized by growth and prosperity.
The Shura Council, in its 8th regular session of the first annual session of the 10th term, hosted His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Nasser al-Harrasi, Minister of Information. The session discussed the Ministry of Information statement, which included 12 topics, including legislation and laws regulating the media sector in the Sultanate of Oman, training and development efforts, provincial media, the level of media interaction with societal issues, and investment opportunities and areas in the media industry. His Excellency the Minister of Information stressed that the Omani media embodies in the process of the modern and renewed renaissance a human and civilized message, and has been able to proceed with confident and continuous steps in carrying out its national role, expressing with all sincerity and objectivity the characteristics of the Omani citizen and his effective and extended cultural contribution to human history, and educating the citizen about his basic role in building his homeland, its development, progress and prosperity. His Excellency pointed out that the Omani media is carrying out its responsible, enlightening and awareness role, enabling the dissemination of knowledge, emphasizing freedom of opinion and expression within the limits of the law, and playing its positive role in expressing with all honesty and transparency the policies of the Sultanate of Oman and its firm positions towards various regional and international issues and events. Rear Admiral Saif bin Nasser al-Rahbi, commander of the Royal Navy of Oman, received Rear Admiral Vasilius Georgiou Paris, commander of the naval operations of the European Union's naval force Operation Atlanta, and the accompanying military delegation currently visiting the Sultanate of Oman. During the meeting, views were exchanged and several matters of mutual interest, especially in the maritime fields, and ways to enhance them were discussed. Rear Admiral Vasilius Georgiou Paris, commander of the naval operations of the European Union's naval force, Operation Atlanta, along with the accompanying military delegation, also visited the Maritime Security Center. During the visit, the delegation was briefed on the roles of the center and its various efforts aimed at maintaining the security and safety of the environment and navigation in the Omani maritime region. Major General Hamid bin Ahmed Skroon, head of the Academy of Strategic and Defense Studies at Beit al-Falaj camp, received a delegation from the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz College for Leadership and Staff at the Ministry of the National Guard of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, led by Brigadier Abdullah bin Saleh al-Anizi, commander of the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz College for Leadership and Staff. The head of the Academy of Strategic and Defense Studies welcomed the visiting delegation and exchanged discussions on several academic and joint training topics. The delegation from the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz College for Leadership and Staff at the Ministry of the National Guard of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, led by Brigadier Abdullah bin Saleh al-Anizi, commander of the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz College for Leadership and Staff, also visited the National Defense College at the Academy of Strategic and Defense Studies at Beit al-Falaj camp. Upon arrival, the delegation was briefed or received by Rear Admiral Ali bin Abdullah Shidi, commandant of the National Defense College at the Academy of Strategic and Defense Studies. During the meeting, several topics of mutual interest, especially academic and training aspects, were discussed. They also received a briefing on the National Defense College, including its facilities and equipment, and visited various departments of the college during the visit. The delegation from the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz College for Leadership and Staff at the Ministry of the National Guard of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, led by Brigadier Abdullah bin Saleh al-Anizi, commander of the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz College for Leadership and Staff, also visited the Joint Command and Staff College at the Academy of Strategic and Defense Studies. During the meeting, they watched a visual presentation about the college, its curriculum, and its training and educational programs. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main headlines once again. His Majesty the Sultan and His Highness Sheikh, President of the United Arab Emirates, hold an official discussion session at Al-Watan Palace in Abu Dhabi. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq arrives to the United Arab Emirates in a two-day state visit. Assigned by His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid As'ad bin Tariq Al Said receives the Chairman of the National People's Assembly of Algeria. Two agreements are signed to establish an Omani-French project for liquefied natural gas at Sohar port at a cost of $1.6 billion and to supply a French company with approximately 800,000 metric tons of gas annually over a period of 10 years. And His Excellency the Minister of Information affirms before the Shura Council that the Omani media fulfills its responsible enlightening and awareness-raising role, providing opportunities for the dissemination of knowledge while upholding the freedom of opinion and expression within the bounds of the law. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here, the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay safe. Thank you.